Have you ever had an addiction and you just can't quit? You just can't stop? Is there a part inside of your brain that's telling you, like, oh, I need to do this in parts. I need to do this in pieces. I need to do this slowly. I need to first limit my smoking to 5 times a day, and then down to 4 times a day, and then down to 3 times a day. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. Whatever part of your brain, whatever part of your mind is the voice that thinks that's a good idea, that is very likely the voice of addiction itself. That is the voice that is keeping you doing the thing. I want to tell you how to deal with that voice decisively and effectively. It's really, really simple, actually. You need to take away the option completely. So, like, look at me. I'm out in the middle of the woods, pretty far away from civilization. I don't have any access to cigarettes out here. And I recently quit Hape, which is a South American type of tobacco snuff. And I had been worked up a habit where I'm using that on a daily basis. For all practical purposes, it's like any other type of nicotine addiction. And I recently ran out. But that was my plan. My plan was to let myself run out and put myself in a situation where I did not have access to get any more. You know, I would have to search pretty hard, drive a really long way, and or mail order and wait several days to get more. It's not something that I can just, reach over and do. If you're trying to quit cigarettes and you've got like a pack of cigarettes sitting there and you're telling yourself, I'm just going to reduce it, I call bullshit on that. Even if it does work, even if you're successful in that, you're probably successful in spite of that methodology and not because of that methodology. The one thing that you'll notice, if you completely take away the option, so like even if I wanted to talk myself into doing it right now, I just don't have the option. It's not available to me. The substance is not available, full stop. So that voice in my head changes its tune. It's going to do one of two things. It's either A, it's going to say, try to talk me into getting more, okay? And that's pretty fucking obvious when that's happening. It's hard to lie to yourself about that when you're like having to go through a long process to go get more of something. It's pretty obvious what you're up to. And the other thing that the only other option the voice has is to fucking deal with it. And the way that my voice is dealing with it is by just yelling a lot. It's just going, I want to, it'll throw a bit of a temper tantrum. Now, I don't have to identify with that. I don't have to act that out. I don't have to behave that way. It's actually it's such a caricature. It's like a cartoon. So I get to look at that and just be like, wow, okay. But I do feel a lot of energy. I feel a huge energetic charge, especially the first few days after stopping, because there's just this really strong craving and there's this really strong energy and it doesn't have anywhere to go. And if having access to that substance were an option or had left that door open somehow for myself, that energy would be going towards the substance. Yeah, the energy would be trying to make me, oh yeah, you should smoke. I know you said you'd only smoke 5 today, but you should really smoke 6 today. Just one extra one today because blah, 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 blah. Do you get it? The voice is going to do whatever it takes to try to make you do the thing if it's an option. But when it's not an option, that it just sort of turns into a big energetic charge that has nowhere to go. It's like a big loaded cannon that you don't know where to discharge it. So that could happen with, exercise. I've been sinking a lot of energy into other projects. And I've had an abundance of energy to leverage. There's a story about Cortez. They kept having fights with the native people there, and they kept losing and getting their asses kicked, and they kept fleeing back to the ships. So apparently what Cortez did was he ordered them to burn all the ships. as soon as they docked. And he said, guys, the only way out is on their ships. You're going to have to take it from them. I'm not condoning this type of fucking behavior, but think about that principle. If you burn the ships at the port, if you take away the option completely, that voice in your head is very clever. It knows. It knows that that's not actually an option. And it's amazing how much its tune will change and what's available, what's possible after you burn the ships at the harbor, which means taking whatever thing you're trying to do, you're trying to quit, and actually get rid of it. Let it run out. Put yourself in a position where it's completely inaccessible to you and see what happens.